There are certain ways we have been doing things all our life, and there are alternative perspectives. At Spill the Tea, we spill those alternatives or unconventional ideas. Hello everyone, this is Keisya from Spill the Tea Studios. I'm excited for today's episode as we will completely enter a different world this time. Throughout these past few months, there is an increasing popularity of new age practices and ideas that has contributed to tarot becoming more mainstream. Talking about the wellness industry, we have all benefited from yoga and meditation. No doubts about it, at the same has experienced a huge popularity in recent times. It was only a matter of time before tarot reading became popularized too. Social media like TikTok and Instagram also help to destigmatize tarot and make it more accessible to those who may be curious about it. Today, we will be chatting with someone who indeed has an unconventional background and role. So that's why I prepared this costume, I might say. She started a tarot practice for empowerment and self-compassion. Let's welcome our guest, a modern witch and a tarot card reader, as well as coach, Skye Carter. How are you doing, Skye?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. Good. I'm trying to pull off the look. I hope it's working.
I love it.
Good that you can join us today. I'm excited for this episode because I'm interested. Well, not 100%. I'm interested because my friends are the one who introduced me to this world as well. I even got some of them a tarot card as a birthday gift. So it's something that I know, but not fully 100% yet. So it'll be great to hear from you. And I have many friends who are into zodiacs as well. Also, I have an oracle deck here as well. To be honest, 80% of the time, I don't know how to use it. It's just to escape this boring world. So
it's totally a good enough reason.
Right. Well, talking about unconventional ideas, tarot cards have long been a part of our society, dating as far as back as 15th century. In the modern day context, these decks of cards being used for the purpose of reading the past, present, or future has had a revival of sorts, with a whole new generation embracing and popularizing the technique through social media channels, which you also do. So Skye, please tell us about yourself and how did you get started in this?
Yeah, so around 2015, I was not into like spiritual stuff at all. I was just wanting to go to Salem for Halloween because it's like one of the Halloween capitals in the US, and I was like, oh, I love Halloween. I love campy, like kitschy stuff. We'll just like go have a crazy Halloween. And as I was searching for stuff to do, there was all of this like actual witchy stuff going on there. Like you could actually go sign up for a class and get a tarot reading. And I was like, what? This is what people actually do this, like for real? So I kind of got really into it though. It came at a really good time for me actually, because then a month later, after booking this trip, I really like went downhill mental health wise. Like I stopped sleeping. I was living off of coffee and alcohol. Like it was not great. And I wasn't eating a lot, not taking care of myself at all. And so like having the practice of like setting up an altar and like meditating with it once a day, like really helped me get out of that funk.
Wow. That started as like, wow, you just came to the fair and then you find, wow, there's actually a demand for it. So you become interested in it. All right, that's really interesting. And I wanted to ask as well, like, where does your name come from, or like the label? I mean, if I see the website, we will see something like the tarot coach. And then it's really interesting. What are the skills required to call yourself as a tarot coach or witch in general?
Yeah, well, it's those two things. Let me back up. So a witch, I mean, anyone can call themselves that really. Like even people who maybe don't even practice witchcraft or spiritual stuff, they kind of identify with the symbolism of being a witch, right? Of this idea of being someone who's like against the grain and like that kind of thing. So basically anyone can call themselves that really. And as far as coaching, I just have a background in coaching people in community projects and helping them get off the ground. So that's where I combined those two things.
All right. Okay. That's really interesting. Because when talking about tarot coach, it's like a one-on-one, and then that's what you do as well, right? You do like you guide your clients on how to read as well, which you will give us a sneak peek later. So I saw on your TikTok you have quite a spiritual route or journey. So what has that been like, and how did you get into witchcraft and Gnosticism?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I've started talking more recently about how I grew up in like a very conservative Christian denomination. It's kind of small and not very like known, so people are kind of surprised when I'm like, yeah, these are all the rules that we had. And they're like, what? So like yeah, like women weren't really allowed to do much other than help watch kids. So I left that, and then I became like an atheist for like 8 years. I needed a break, and yeah, and I really never thought I would get back into anything spiritual, but like I said, I kind of had this time in my life where it really helped me find more self-love and like find a spiritual reason to like take care of myself. And in the past year or two, I started getting into stuff that's kind of known as Gnosticism or Gnostic stuff, because I just felt a pull to look back at my religious trauma from childhood and like not be so angry about it. Like there used to be a time where if someone said the word like God to me, it'd be like flames coming out of my head, like so angry. And so like learning about different beliefs and like kind of revisiting all of that stuff helped me like have a lot more peace with it.
All right. Okay, got it. That's wow. Okay, that's really interesting, because last time you were committed to a specific belief, and then now that you're more open and understand more what's out there, and you're okay with it, you accept it, and now you have chosen this path. That's really interesting. So now let's go back to focusing on more of what you do. So what draws you the most to tarot card reading? Because there are many different aspects of shall I say witchcraft, but practices besides tarot card reading. There are like crystals, spiritual reading, aura reading. So what draws you the most to tarot card reading?
Yeah, so tarot I think is awesome because there's so much imagery involved, and I have a background actually also as an artist. I went to art school, so I can like look at a tarot card and get like a whole story out of it. Like the pictures speak to me. I'm just like, oh yeah, like this is about like feeling sad or lost or stuff like that. And so I just am naturally drawn to tarot.
Oh, that's awesome. And I was reading the article before this interview that actually tarot also inspired many major brands like Dior with their designs and how they brainstorm their designs. So it's actually really powerful. And of course, when you become interested in tarot, did you share this with your family, and what was their reaction?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. I mean, like some people in my family are very chill, and I like even give them readings. Like at one Christmas in like 2019, like all of the siblings and step siblings went upstairs, and I like gave everybody a reading. And some people I just don't talk to them about it because I know it'll make them uncomfortable. So it's just like, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can't say anything. You can't force them to like. It's just this, like, chill. Yeah, like you can't do that. It's because they have that fixed mindset. And I understand what you mean, because like when I have like, when I think not only me, but when people have family gatherings, they don't want to force that belief on other people as well. If they're already like think that you're, I don't know, different, right? So, got it. And now I wanted to ask you more about tarot as well here, because there are so many misconceptions, and maybe maybe sometimes you're annoyed too when these stereotypes or misconceptions, like people interpret it differently. And now that we have like TikTok tarot readers, and then YouTube as well, so some people refer to tarot as fortune telling. And I saw on your website in big letters, it says it does not predict the future. So, but what do you think is the best description then?
Yeah, so I think of tarot as a way to reflect on what's going on for you, and then to see like, okay, what can I do about it? What can I do to make the future that I want happen? Because I think if you're just guessing or predicting what's going to happen, it's like, what can you do with that? You can just like wait around to see if it comes true or not, which I guess that could be cool. But like there's some value in that. But yeah, I think it's more helpful to see like, okay, so like how can I help myself in this situation?
Right. So what you're saying, it's like a path, guide you to a better future, as and then like what you said, this imagery, you can interpret it differently as well. So yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. But when someone say, it tells you your future, and then they just don't make an effort to live their life, that's actually pretty scary. So now let's talk about like the more, I don't want to say technical, but about the tarot itself. I understand that a standard tarot deck has like 78 cards divided into 2 types. So now can you tell us a bit about what is inside a tarot deck, and what is the best way to read it, and how do we know if someone is scamming or like not giving like a good description of or good interpretation?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, scammers definitely, like, this is a big problem on social media, especially. I mean, people that they'll take like popular, like well-known tarot readers and like witches and stuff, and they'll take their images and make like fake accounts, and then like DM people like, oh wow, I just really love your energy, like would you like a reading? And like then they like try to send you like a PayPal or something, and then you like never hear from them again. So like I think a big
my God.
Yeah, so a big rule is like, if anyone ever DMs you saying like, oh, I'd love to give you a reading, like that's a scammer. Most people, I mean, I think all like reputable readers they don't like just DM you. Like that would be so weird.
They'll be too busy with clients.
Exactly. Yeah. And another like red flag of scammers is like, I don't know, if you're looking at their content and it's always Doomsday or like like I don't know, you just gotta be wary of people who are just like, oh, things are so terrible, so you need to come back to me for another reading. Or like
okay.
Even, I mean, I don't think like a lot of people do this on TikTok necessarily, but I don't know, I don't watch everything. Like if people are like, oh, you have a curse on you and you need to come back so that I can like lift it, like yeah, like don't fall for like that's definitely a thing too. So but yeah, but other than that, if you're trying to decide like whether to pay somebody for a reading, I think you just have to, it is tricky, right? Because it's not like you have a degree in tarot. Like you can't just like trust that everyone's great. I think you just have to like look at their content, see if you like it, look at their reviews and their website, and just like see if the vibes feel good to you. I mean, that's why I do tarot readings for donations still, rather than like charging a price, because it's like, yeah, I'm just some random person on the internet. Like I don't think, it's hard to tell who's good, so I just let people like come and like not feel worried that they're getting scammed.
Right. Now that we understand the scam and the dark side of this practice, like then maybe you can share a bit, what do good reading tells you? Does it only focus on the future only, or like how do you usually reader break it down?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on who you're going to. Some people are more comfortable with being like, oh yeah, this is the future, and like, that's, if you are more into that too, that could be good. I think for me personally, I spend a little time talking about what's going on currently, because I think it can be good to like reflect and kind of like get validated almost, and be like, yeah, like I'm feeling really like lost right now, and I have a decision to make, and I'm just feeling totally torn because I'm worried about like long term which one's going to make me happy, like something like that. And then I spend a lot of time like, okay, so what will help you through this decision? And then I give people intentions based on the reading that they can write down every day to help like keep them present to what they want to create in the future, keep them present to what's going to help them out the most.
Got it. So again, you guide them based on your readings. So yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, then I'll keep that in mind when I go for readings then. All right. And okay, so I wanted to know, I mean, I don't know whether this is like the supernatural part of it, but when you read about all these tarot card readers, they will be like, yeah, because I started because when I was little, I had this awakening, or like I had this, gift or spiritual experience. So my question is, do you need to be gifted in order to do this? And I saw on a forum, they say that it's bad luck if you buy a deck for yourself. So there's this type of beliefs. What do you think about it, Skye?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people now think you can't buy your own tarot deck is a myth, or you can't buy your first one. Mm-hmm. I think that's totally a myth. Like, you can totally just go buy one. It's not a big deal. And you don't need to be like gifted or like think that you're gifted to start reading tarot cards. I mean, that's the thing too, is like, sometimes we have no idea if we're like gifted or like, good at something until we do it.
Well, who knows? Maybe it's part of their marketing strategy, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true. But yeah, and some people like do tarot in a totally non-spiritual way, or they're just not very spiritual, but they find a lot of value in looking at the cards, because the cards are based on these like archetypes. So these kind of like universal experiences that we as humans have and go through. So they just find value in that, and they don't necessarily believe there's anything like crazy supernatural going on.
But that's what makes it exciting, right? Because usually these are like, there are stories about it, and then there are like and then they relate it to history in the past. So that's what makes it really, really interesting. And okay, before we jump into your expertise, tarot card reading, and then we do the real thing, I want to ask this: how do you prepare yourself before reading? Is there any ritual to make sure there is no negative energy? Maybe you can share.
Yeah, I'm a little lax on this. I feel like that's my whole thing. I mean, sometimes if I do feel like, okay, maybe I want to like get into it a little more, like I've had more of a stressful day, I have like some like rose oil that I put on, or like mugwort balm. Sometimes I'll put some incense in the background, but I think it is mostly like internal. Like while I'm shuffling, I'll like set an intention to get what I need to get out of it, or like something like that. So some people have another myth is like you have to not have any like negativity going on when you like read tarot, and I'm like, I think that's when most people go for their tarot deck when something's going wrong, right? They're like, okay, I need some help. So it's totally fine to come in like whatever space you're coming in, but I think setting an intention just like helps you relax into it.
Okay, got it. Setting an intention. All right. Okay, Skye, please take it away. Okay. Oh god, I'm actually quite scared.
Oh no, you don't need to be scared. So do you want to ask a specific question, or like general question even, or do you want to just see what comes up?
Okay, so do I have to ask it out loud?
I guess you don't have to. Yeah.
Okay.
You can ask it internally if you'd like to.
Oh god. No, if I ask it internally, it's also kind of scary, but okay. But what is like the most common thing? Like, so that our list.
Yeah, I think most people just want to see what comes up for them. And they But
okay,
then let's to ask if people have questions, unless there is something like burning.
I mean, obviously I have something burning, but I'm so scared. Okay, maybe I'll make it general. What is it like for me the next 5 years? Is that?
Yeah, well, you can look at that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Now here's like the Jeopardy music as I like the background music while I shuffle a little bit more. Okay, so I pulled 3 cards for now. We've got, I'll try and hold them up for you. We've got the 9 of Wands, and then we have the Page of Wands reversed, and then the Queen of Wands. So we've got all wands here, so that's really interesting.
Oh God, okay.
It's not bad though. When I say interesting, it never means bad. So wands are the element of fire, and I see them as action cards, like going out there and doing the thing, taking action. So it seems like you've got a lot going on, like now and in the future, like working on a lot. That's like my initial reaction, but we can get into it more. The 9 of Wands, this one, so this spread is like what's going on for you right now in this first card. So I see the 9 of Wands as being really determined to make something happen. And 9, I always feel silly when I phrase it like this, but then I can't help it. 9 comes before 10. Okay. And so 10.
Wow, 10, I still didn't know that, Skye.
I know. I can't help it. So 10 is completion. It's like completing a cycle. So 9 is that space right beforehand where maybe you are like still in the grind, still having to be really determined to make it happen. I think the only thing to look out for here is to like that doubt that tends to come up in that time of like, is this work all worth it? Is it going to actually work out for me? Should I keep going? So it's like a combination of that, of being like, I'm going to make this happen, and then like the little doubts that come in because it's like, okay, but it hasn't worked out yet. Do you want to say anything about that one? You are allowed to talk.
I think I completely agree with that. I do have a lot of things happening right now because I'm trying to build something before I aim to do it. I don't know. It sounds so generic, but I'm trying to achieve this. I'm trying to, how do I say this? Achieve one goal, and in order to achieve that one goal, I have to do multiple things or achieve multiple things and get a positive feedback from other people. So, and I just got a good news today actually about another involvement with my community, and that will put a lot of that requires a lot of my energy and time. So I think it's very, very accurate. And regarding about the 9 before 10 thing, I think that also applies because I'm having doubts. Just before I recorded this podcast, I was speaking to my co-host. I was like, I'm so scared that I won't be able to divide my time. So yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Please continue.
Okay. Then we have the Page of Wands reversed, and so this is in the spot of what can help. So I tend to see the pages as like the beginner's mindset, the student mindset. It's like you're learning things, you're in the process of learning, you're doing things you never have done before. And with it reversed, I see like a mix here. It feels like a balance. Like for you, what can help is finding a balance between having confidence in yourself in terms of like, you're not totally like a beginner here. You do know what you're doing. Like, I don't know if you have like some imposter syndrome stuff going on around it. Like,
oh my God,
I don't even know how to do this, like that kind of feeling. So what can help is to really like have confidence in your abilities and skills and know like, no, I do know what I'm doing. Okay. There's also a side to it too of like giving yourself, I feel like the pages are always like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you know what you're doing, but at the same time, maybe you are learning new things at the same time. Like, it's like a combination of things. Neither one is totally true. And so you can have compassion for yourself if you do find yourself being like, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Like, but from what you're seeing, is it more like is my lack of confidence giving me is it making me do things negatively, or am I doing it right? Like, is there any way that you can interpret that?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that maybe the lack of confidence it could just make things harder for yourself.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if you're doing anything wrong right now. It's just kind of like you might be able to like accomplish so much more if you spent less energy being like, oh, what if I like totally don't know what I'm doing.
Right. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay.
And next we have the Queen of Wands, and I'm gonna pull this one back up again so you can see it.
It's so pretty.
Got a little black
but there's a black cat there.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, I don't think they're bad black. So the Queen of Wands, let's see. So this is what's next for you, kind of what you can use for your intention. So I tend to see the queens as balance, and it's finding that balance in action, similar to kind of what we were talking about with the page. This one is more of like taking some breaks and feeling inspired and taking action. It's keeping both present for you. We've got all fire here. It's so cool. You know, this card makes me think of like Leo season 2, because we've got the lions up at the top. I don't know if you can
okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
And so this card is about like same thing of confidence, being bold. Let's see if there's anything else here. Yeah, so it seems like those themes of like, especially because they're all wands, like it doesn't seem like it's saying like, oh, stop and totally rethink your life here, right? It's like it's like you're on a good path, like keep going. Of course, take your breaks, but also just keep confident with yourself. So I think an intention that could help you right now is, I'm creating confidence and boldness in my life.
Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is so accurate. It's scary.
Okay.
And boldness. Thank you so much for that. All right.
And
from there, can you see the other aspects of my life? I mean, this one is general. So, how about like in terms of like work or personal relationship? I mean, yeah. Can you see anything from those cards as well?
Oh, like from the same 3 cards?
Yeah.
For relationships, yeah, I guess I could look at it a different way too.
Oh god.
I mean, I think sometimes like our work life and our relationship lives are similar. I don't know. So like, I don't know if you've been no, I feel like it'd be different. Like I feel like
different. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, unless, do you feel like you've been kind of like determined in relationships? I feel like no, right?
No, the people around me are determined for me, not
me.
me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good place to be.
Oh god, no. I mean, I don't know if it's positive, but yeah, I don't know, because everyone is growing older. Like, I mean, and you know, with the pandemic, it's like 2 years. Like, what am I doing? So, yeah, it's just people around me that are like determined to know about it. I'm just like super chill about it. But yeah, but it's really interesting. Like from your readings, I get to know like my current situation, and then how do I move or start to go to the right path without compromising, or make sure that I can achieve that goal in a better way. Like for example, try to be more confident, and then like what you said, focus more on the boldness aspect of it, right? So thank you so much for that, Skye.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm totally curious, like do you know what your sign is?
My the zodiac one is so it's like fire. Wait, I forgot fire, and then I don't know, because my friend analyzed me before. I think it's like fire, and then there's like rising, and then what is it?
Moon.
What? Yeah, moon.
Yeah,
my moon is Libra, I think.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Oh god, now you're gonna interpret more.
No. I was just wondering, because I mean these are all fire cards, so I was wondering if you have like the red background, so I was like, so it makes sense. If your sun sign is a fire, I'm like, yes, you're giving that energy.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I actually wanted to know, like, when you read a client, do you ask them about their zodiacs as well, and do you read their aura as well?
Yeah, no, I don't do aura readings. I sometimes will ask about their sign if I feel like it comes up, where I'm like,
Mhm.
are you, are you a Gemini? Or sometimes I'll talk about Chiron, because I think the asteroid Chiron is really interesting, because it's like where we are a wounded healer. So it's what sign it is can kind of talk about what you struggle with, but what you also have the ability to help others with.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay. And usually like a typical reading, like how long does it take? Is it like just I don't know, 30 minutes or like 1 hour, or depends on the client if they want to ask so many questions?
Yeah, it depends. I think it typically takes like 25-30 minutes, but I have done them for longer.
Wow. Okay, longer. Right. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for that. I really, really enjoy it, and it's interesting, and kind of scary how accurate it is. So,
Good.
and that's, and I wanted to know more about like your common practices with tarot. Like I heard there are different ways to reset your cards or cleanse your cards. So like there's like knocking, and I don't know. Different people do it differently. So how about you? Do you have any how do you cleanse your cards, or is there any typical like favorite things to do after you're done with the reading?
Yeah, again, I'm very chill. I don't really think it's that important. Like I feel like other people would hear that and be like, no, it's so important to cleanse your cards. If you like doing it, like that's totally awesome. I'm just someone I'm just like, I'll just shuffle them again. It's all good. Like I'll be resetting the intention at the beginning of each reading to like get the best out of it, and I think that's good enough.
Got it. Yeah. And then of course I wanted to know this because this is what you're doing to me right now. What are the most common challenges interacting with your client online?
Oh yeah, I think online it's actually not that hard. Like I started reading in February 2020, right before, like for other people a lot. I went to a bar and like did it for people to try and raise money for this like community arts project I was working on. And I was like, oh, I want to keep doing this. I'm going to keep going to bars and doing it. But then like 3 weeks later, right, like everything shut down. So I was like, well, so I switched to doing it online, and I was like, is it gonna work online? Like that kind of thing. And it's like totally works. I mean, someone once was like, how does it work online? Like, are you getting my energy through the screen?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I mean, I don't know. I don't claim to be like, oh yes, this is how it works. Like I'm like, if it does, great.
Okay, that's good. Wow, so you are truly a modern witch then. I think that's that's really the best title for you right here then. And Skye, obviously I wanted to know, since you're, I think maybe you're already fully into tarot reading, is there something that you're currently dwelling into? Like for example, are you trying other things at the moment other than tarot cards?
No, I'm just keeping like researching more. Like there's always more to learn about them. So I'm just like trying to actually, like, I can be kind of like all over the place. So I'm like, okay, focus on this.
Got it. So you're not soon, when our listeners hear this, maybe you're already a master. I mean, you're already a master now, but
It's always more to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And of course, for you, I think there are many people who would like to start as well, because tarot is something that is what you say, you can interpret it differently, and it's a way to help people as well, to guide them. So is there any tips or tricks for you for beginners in choosing their first deck, or what do they do in order to get started?
Yeah, so I mean, choosing your first deck, I typically think it's helpful to get one that looks similar to the Smith Rider Waite deck. And that's the deck that you will probably pop up first when you Google like tarot cards. It came out in like 1909. I'm pretty sure I got that date right. Yeah, and it's a great deck. I love it still. But if you do want something that's maybe a little bit more modern, you can just look for decks that follow a similar look. And I think that's helpful because when you like Google cards, like if you want to Google like how do I read the Seven of Wands, like which is totally, you can totally do that. They'll mostly be talking about the symbolism that's in the Smith Rider Waite deck because it is so like well known. But you don't have to. If you want to go off the wall and get a tarot deck that's all cats, which does exist, you can do that too. You can always get your cat deck, and like I'm sure you'll figure it out. But yeah, and then other than that, you can just start pulling like a card. My recommendation for how to get started is to look at the card for a while, maybe journal what you think it means, and then you can cross-reference it. Like what do other people online say that it means? What does this book say that it means? What does the little guidebook that came with the deck maybe say that it means? And you can kind of like combine all that information and see which ones you want to keep, which ones you're like, no, that doesn't feel right to me. And eventually you'll compile like your own unique understanding of it.
Got it. So started by getting a deck, and then of course self-learn, and obviously learn from people like Skye as well, and try to avoid scammers if you can, like what she has told us in the beginning, because it's scary now. There are so many resources, like we don't know what to trust. So that's why I wanted to ask you that question. And there are many major influencers out there in the area, like tarot priest on YouTube, which my friend is a big fan of. So there are a lot of resources as well. And Skye, one more thing I want to ask you before we wrap up. What is next for you?
Oh, keep posting all of my reels and TikToks. I feel like that's what's next.
Oh my god, like BB, one of our co-hosts, he was like so excited with this podcast, because he was say, oh my god, I saw her reels, and then he was like so amazed by what you do. And because the reels that you do, it's also challenging the conventional beliefs, so that's actually super aligned with our motto as Spill the Tea podcast. And thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for giving me a reading. For our listeners out there, I hope you learned something new. Make sure you follow our Instagram at Spill the Tea Pods. And Skye, would you like to share your social media as well? Where can we find you on Instagram, TikTok, and your website if you want to promote?
Yeah, so on TikTok and Instagram, I am Skye. Oh, okay, my name's kind of hard to spell. It's probably not the best, but it's Skye with an E at the end, .marinda.tarot. It'll probably be linked somewhere, but
yes, I will tag you. We'll tag you.
Okay, cool. That's probably easier. But yeah, my website's the same, skymarinda.com.
Got it. Thank you so much. And make sure everyone, I'll make sure to put all the links in the description and tag her on our Instagram. And yeah, be sure to check out Skye's reels because they are awesome. And thank you, Skye, again. Thanks everyone, and hope you enjoyed this episode. Goodbye.